Hello. Here's what to expect in the next 30 minutes on the marketplace. Mobile money transactions expected to relegate checks to the background in the not too distant future, as transactions yet again surpass checks by a whopping 374.8 billion cedis in the first 6 months of this year. Also, the Association of Ghana Industries paints gloomy picture of the preparedness of local industries to compete in the African continental free trade as impact of COVID-19 bite hard. We have more from the Ghana Industrial Summit, where government is being challenged to quicken aggressive reforms to revamp undercapitalized industries. And of course, still regarding matters of the business climate, we shall also be getting in touch with the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry ahead of the SME Forum as we gear the state of SMEs in Ghana today. Hello once again, you're welcome to the program. We're taking a short break. We're right back with all the business stories this day. Hello and welcome. Mobile money transactions are expected to relegate checks to the background in the not too distant future, as mobile transactions yet again surpass checks by a whopping 374.8 billion cedis in the first 6 months of this year. Now, this is according to the data from the Bank of Ghana. Charles Nixon Yeboah has more.
This is against 232 billion cedis recorded in the first 4 months of this year and 389 billion cedis registered in the full year of 2020. If the trend continues, the full-year transactions for 2021 could exceed 600 billion cedis. It is therefore not surprising that the central bank is introducing the ECD at this time to boost the cash-light agenda. According to the figures from the Bank of Ghana, the value of mobile money transactions in the first 6 months of this year was estimated at a little above 476 billion cedis, whilst that of check transactions was 101.9 billion cedis. Now, the significant use of Momo for financial transactions indicates that we are gradually getting to the time, whether sooner or later, that many Ghanaians or retail consumers will largely prefer using their mobile money accounts for deposit of funds transferred than resorting to the banking system. This should alert the banks to re-strategize in order to position themselves well to benefit from the share of Momo before losing out entirely to the telecom firms. Ghana continues to lead a league of countries in West Africa in terms of Momo transactions, but still trails quite a number of countries in the East and Southern Africa.
Away from that, the Ghana Industrial Summit has been launched, with the Association of Ghana Industries painting a gloomy picture of the state of local industries amid the global pandemic. As the Continental Free Trade enters its 8th month of operations, the president of the AGI, Dr. Yaodu Jemfi, is doubtful of the capacity of local industries to compete. He cites the cost of power, Ghana's tariff negotiation strategy, the failed efforts to restructure loans, and access to finance as deep concerns needing urgent addressing. He spoke ahead of the opening.
It's given us a great opportunity that we can see a brighter light at the end of the tunnel. This gave us some glimmer of hope as we prepare ourselves to deal with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. But it is very apparent that a lot more need to be required to enable businesses trade under the African Continental Free Trade, considering the turbulence that businesses went through last year. That's why it is great that the theme for this year's summit is repositioning Ghanaian industries to improve our leverage in working under the African Continental Free Trade, known as AfTA. This theme sets the tone for a good dialogue and policy prescriptions that should be propelled our way forward. And I trust that all of us will participate, that we get the good mark from all the experts that have been drawn into this summit, from our key institutions, to help us elucidate the topics that has been outlined for the 3 and 4 days. Affordable electricity, Ghana's tariff negotiations and liberalization strategy within the AfTA, and the incentives for industries in Ghana are major concerns. Because without these incentives, Ghanaian companies cannot become competitive. And we therefore want each one of us to participate bring your ideas on board under this summit so that we can see our way forward. To do well under the AFTA, AGI understands the importance of the cost of doing business. Leveraging AFTA becomes more difficult if our local production and competitiveness is not considered. As a country, our mother Ghana has also signed on a number of trade agreements, such as the Interim Economic Partnership Agreement under the UK Trade Partnership Agreement, and I am certain that all these are well intended. However, let us not lose spirit of the fact that these agreements also come with a duty-free quota for all the provisions of imports that will be coming into our country. And be mindful that we also don't have much to export into their countries.
Well, meanwhile, the special advisor to the president, Yao Osafo-Malfo, says government is aggressively injecting policies and reforms to facilitate the competitiveness of local industries. He cites the establishment of the new development bank, among other interventions, to cushion and capitalize local industries. Also, the special advisor also chastised the banking sector for what he calls is an aggressive attempt to take advantage of the leveling low of the policy rate, which he says is not inuring much to the betterment of local industries. Take a listen.
Government recognizes the challenges of a medium to long-term capital to our economy. You would have noticed that the banks, through no fault of theirs, have also preferred to lend short and maximum medium. Short-term lending is the icing on the cake for our banks, and for good reason. And as a result of that, retail trade, retail business have really flourished in our system, because the banks would normally prefer to lend short, so the traders had not much difficulty accessing bank credit. But industry has. And I think it's something we must look at. If we want to create employment, we must reverse it. Banks should feel more comfortable lending medium and long than lending short. And short-term lending must always be a coefficient of medium to long-term lending. I lend to establish an industry. That industry requires a working capital. That will be short-term lending. But for the industrial lending, for buying of plant and machinery, that will be medium to long. But for the working capital, that will be short. So you would have a term loan and also a short-term loan, an overdraft, you call it most of the time. The two must always go hand in hand. It cannot be that banks are more interested in overdraft than term loans. The two are sworn brothers in arms, and we must put them always together for the economy to develop and develop well. So AGI, you have a lot of work to do in making the Ghana Beyond Aid concept work and work effectively. There are certain areas we should not take for granted. We should look at and look at technically. We should look at and look at dispassionately if we are to move forward. The government has decided to establish a new development bank, and this has been mentioned by the AGI president and by the Honorable Deputy Minister. The idea is to find a solution to this term loan saga. We need it. And I believe that the new development bank will assist to address that problem.
And of course, he made those comments at the 2021 Ghana Industrial Summit, which is themed repositioning Ghanaian industries to leverage on the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. Let's still stay on matters regarding the Continental Free Trade, because the general management consulting firm IDEC Consultancies International has expressed concern about applying digitalization to the trade pact to ensure that goods and services meet the prerequisite standards, particularly for the Anglo and Francophone markets, now which represent the biggest on the continent, as well as other markets. Well, as such, the company is set to organize the Made in Africa Digital Forum under the theme, The Digital Challenge, Africa's Opportunity and the After. And thankfully, we're joined via Zoom by the Chief Executive of IDEC, Ambrose Yena, as well as the Marketing Strategist of IDEC Group, Ama Amoa. And of course, we're so grateful, both of you, for joining us. To start off with you, Ama, what are the challenges posed by digitalization as regards trading and the after? All right, Ama, it seems we're having a negative feedback there. If you could just turn away your mobile gadget so that the feed we're getting from your back is resolved, please. Yeah, I think it's perfect now. We could hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. So some of the challenges after is facing is human deficiency and technological capacity. In as much as we are growing, there is also this fear, phobia when it comes to technology, digitization. Another one too is poor network infrastructure. Of course, this is a very expensive venture to go into for each country and Africa as a whole. Another challenge is the foreign competition that we Africans, we are facing. Loss of intellectual property. And, you know, we need to mention that. So these are some of the challenges that we are facing.
We appreciate that, but Andrews, if you could, of course, hear, if you could hear me, why the Africa Digital Forum? Because we do know that even though AFTA has come with its own opportunities, as Amma has rightly stated, challenges regarding going digital remains much more of a concern to both small and large businesses.
Thank you, and let me say good afternoon to our cherished listeners. The opportunities that are presented under AFTA are many. And we are blessed in Ghana to have the AFTA Secretariat here in Accra. It is incumbent on us as business people, as people in academia, people in the regulatory space, to look at what can we do in this era of digitization under AFTA to take advantage of the opportunities that AFTA has presented. We have a combined population of 1.3 billion people. And then we have a very large market. So the large market, people in manufacturing, business people in manufacturing now, with the benefit of AFTA, will not have to produce only looking at Ghana. They can produce to serve the whole of Africa. And in doing that, the unit cost of production should come down. So business will be able to produce in large quantities and sell across board Africa, intra-African trade. In doing that, the businesses will be making more profit. And if they are making more profit, they can employ more people.
So how different would this be from the various conferences that have been organized under the same subject matter?
It is different. This one we are organizing is different under the auspices of IDEC, a group of companies, because we are bringing in the regulators in the digital space. And I'm talking about National Information Technology Authority. We are bringing in the National Cybersecurity Center. We are bringing in the Data Protection Commission, the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization. These are the regulators of the sector. And for us in the IT sector, we need to be regulatory, we need to be compliant with regulation. So bringing them on board together with key stakeholders in the digital space, like people in business using digital products and solutions. And then our tertiary institutions, academia, are all coming, these three groups of people, on invitation only.
All right.
To discuss the way forward, digitalization for Africa, making digital solutions for Africa.
And we look forward to
the rest of the listening public will have the opportunity to to sign in and view, because it will be live streamed. So the general public is invited, but because of COVID, it's by invitation only. Thank you very much.
And we're looking forward to that. As you can see on your screens, this is what we're talking about, the digital challenge, Africa's opportunity and the after. The Minister of Communications, Esla Kufu, together with the Secretary General of the Continental Free Trade Agreement area, and other keynote speakers will be for this forum. So just make a date with us on Wednesday, the 25th of August. Well, from the IDEC Forum on digitalization, let's now veer into the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, because they are also very much deeper into the health of SME growth and the business community in Ghana. They will, as a matter of urgency, be embarking on this forum as well to ascertain the SME growth in the country and how best they could explore ways of repositioning their business success. The president of the chamber, Clement Osei-Marco, joins us via Zoom. We're so grateful, sir, that you join us on the marketplace. From the chamber's perspective, what's the state of SMEs in Ghana today?
Thank you so much, and then greetings to your listeners. SME state in Ghana is something that we always have to, consider in most of our meetings. Currently, they contribute about 70% of GDP and 75% of employment. And so then it means that 30% comes outside their domain. And so it is an issue that we certainly need to look at as a country. SME, their states, for that matter, has different definition. If you want to look around it, that somebody should give us a definition of an SME, you would end up getting different definitions. Some will look at them in terms of their employment, their capacity, and even some banks in terms of turnover. It means that as a country, there's a lot that we have to do to look at the consistency of putting them together. You realize that they are fragmented, they are not coordinated, difficult even to manage them, and mostly in the informal sector in our country. As to what they do, we don't even know much about their behavior. And we know we must learn consumer behavior to be able to predict their doings and have solutions to them. And that's their nature. As to what they do, who they are, it is difficult for the banks, even if you want to ask them to tell us. Their financials are not reliable because we are not teaching them as to how best they can coordinate and put up figures that we can be supported by banks to help them. They have short life. That is, assuming the owner dies, the company fails to exist. So we have a lot of work to do in this direction. Inadequate information, training, high interest rates are some of the key issues that are bothering the SME. And for that matter, as a country, we need to look at it based upon what they bring on board. And they are capable of transforming this country. We're able to look at them very well.
Quite depressing description of the state of SMEs. But what exactly, therefore, is informing the choosing of the sector this time around under the Chamber's purview for the forum ahead?
We always have a research group who comes out with empirical data concerning them. As part of the work that we did, the research that we did, we saw that SMEs, we need to put them together and coordinate them. So we had the basis from the research and the key role that they also play for the country. And I believe that as a chamber, we have the opportunity to organize them on a monthly basis. It will help and inure to the benefit of this nation. And for that matter, even between now, when we have our meeting in the coming week, we'll certainly have to look at the way of bringing them back again to discuss further before the end of the year. And so we want to look at how to coordinate them, bring them stakeholders together to have data that will be able to, look through and come up with solutions to support them. And basically, with the Chamber of Commerce, we have about 70% or more constitute most of our members. And so that as much as we want to satisfy the needs of our members, the more we tackle them, most of our needs are being addressed. And for that matter, the country will benefit at large.
All right, Mr. President, we do know that in the course of COVID-19, SMEs have had their fair share of the impact negatively. And of course, several interventions have been injected to support these SMEs, but are they enough from your perspective?
So they are woefully inadequate as a country, and looking at what they bring on board. And when you look at the capacity building with the SMEs, most of the time we organize meetings for only 3 days. How can you organize 3 days meeting to build their capacity? They are moving around the streets. How do we get their data for them? They don't even know where. Sometimes the government have some monies for them. They don't even know. And we feel that we need to cluster their needs and find leaders within the country to support them. We have to have a coordinated approach and manage the stakeholders to have adequate information. We have to increase our technology to address their needs. How many SMEs, and for that matter, the microfinance people, micro within the SME space, who have even time to come to the bank? They are moving around the streets. They are not, they are in the informal sector.
All right.
We need to come in with some technology that can address their needs, like the mobile monies. If you go there and you're able to educate them how to put even their deposits together, it's a key issue. You will not get them to move into the banks. So I think that as a nation, there's something more to be done than what we are doing.
All right.
And for us to move them in the interest of the country, there's a lot to be done. And that informs us to have a meeting together with our stakeholders who have the capacity to also deliver, and let's find a lasting solution to their needs, and so that the country will grow well.
Tell us more about the Chamber SME Forum, which is going to focus on redefining business success of SMEs in Ghana.
Okay, thank you. Our SME Forum will take place on 25th at La Palm Hotel. We have our guest speaker, Honorable Frema Osel Pare, will be with us, and he's representing the government level. We have our special guest of honor to be Honorable Alan Chemanti, who is always with us. And so then you realize that we have the sectors around. We have people from Bank of Africa also delivering for us. We have some people also from other ministries together with the other state organization also being with us. We have people who have also tried it a lot, the private sectors also being with us, and we have Ms. Felicia Chumasi will be there.
All right.
Jonathan Litrot, and all those guys who have the capacity to deliver, and most especially the GA boss, Mrs. Kosi Yankee Aye will be there, and most of the SME issues dwell in her domain.
So it's going to be a very much packed event. We're so grateful, Mr. President, that you could make the time to join us on the Marketplace. He is the president of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Well, you're still watching the Marketplace. Let's now delve into the housing sector, because the Ghana Real Estate Development Agency has raised concerns over the increased fraud-related cases to renting and buying property in the country. Industry players say the development has left the housing sector in Ghana less attractive to investors as cases of illicit transfer of money increase. Let's delve deeper into this matter as we bring in a player in the sector, Reverend Dr. Richard Amponsa. We're so grateful that you could also join us. How rife are cases of fraud in the housing sector today?
Oh, thank you very much, Charles. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers. In fact, they are very frequent. They are all over the place. We have a lot of challenges in our housing sector. We have a lot of challenges with regards to fraudulent activities taking place in the renting areas, in sales of properties, in housing, and so on and so forth. And therefore, that is why we have come up with this app called the Property Trader GH app. And this app has been established to help reduce or minimize all these challenges that we have in our system.
The last time we did hear the Deputy Minister for Trade, Honorable John Kuma, comment this particular initiative, saying there's going to be some close engagement between yourself as well as the ministries to streamline this activity. Help us with the update so far.
Yes, we've moved forward. In fact, let me say that this app is not just any app for where owners of properties will just dump their goods, but it is an app where it's an organized store where properties are listed and secured and professionally managed. Okay.
Yeah, so moving forward, how best do you think we could address, briefly, how best do you think we can address the matters of fraud using digitalization and in close partnership with Gweda, from your perspective as an industry player?
This is going to be, once a property is listed, for example, if you want to sell a property, if you want to buy a property, the property is listed on the app. And once it's listed on the app, we will make sure that we authenticate the ownership of the property. We have legal representation. We have consultants who go out there and find out to make sure that the property belongs to the owner. We don't want to be in the situation where properties will be sold to people and the property has been, for example, lands has been sold to people and sold to somebody. You go check and it has been sold to over 3 or 4 people. We want to avoid all those things. And that is basically what we're going to do. And this web has come as a result of my personal experience, where I bought a property for many years, and up till now, it is still being litigated on. And so this web will make sure that all the challenges that bedevils the housing and estate industry is taken care of.
Richard, we're so grateful that you could join us with your take on matters regarding fraud invading Ghana's housing space. And of course, we're also grateful to you for watching this edition of The Marketplace. For more news, you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. In the meantime, do enjoy the rest of our programs. I'm Charles Aite. Have a good afternoon.